Give them a uniform. It gives them pride and self-respect. Seems to me some people have been doing this forever. Seems to me they left it. You know why they left it? Because it had something to do with God. Now that the state's becoming God, they're trying to reverse everything and saying, we found out that this works. And nobody's crying, hey, bud, it was working in the 50s. It was working in the 40s. It was working in the 30s. It was working because God said it would work. Boys and girls are different. Each one has their distinctive qualities. There's no way I want to be a woman. Thank God. I'd make an ugly one. But that child rearing, that emotional stuff you guys got, all crying at a drop of a hat and jump. You know, we're the ones that go into when the wife's having, oh, it's okay. Calm down, it's okay. You know, I don't feel a thing. Didn't bother me a bit. But if you really thought about that, thank God I'm not a woman. It's me. You're never going to hear me say it ain't a piece of cake. I had my wife grab my arm. And that pain was going on. Could wrote a comedy skit on that. But you think about the stuff that's going on today, they say, well, how can we reverse this? I really don't believe personally that things are going to get reversed. But I think homes can reverse it. Communities can reverse some of this stuff. Girls are being raped, they're being abused more now than ever. Because they were put such on a level of equality that the boys are not putting them on a pedestal anymore. They're no longer feminine. They're no longer feminine. They're no longer the weaker vessel. Now it's a bad thing if you say that. If that hand, the mother's hand, is held out to God for guidance, then mother will continue to be a noble word. Now, I have an acrostic here, and I'll just do it in passing here. It's about a paragraph of different things, but we could think about it. A mother has mercy and meekness. Meekness is controlled strength. She is always for others. That's the O. Selfless. That's the basic concept of motherhood. You know, how could a mother be selfish? It's like an oxymoron. How in the world could a mother, if a mother's selfish, that's what's going on. If you get a mother that just is natural and loves her children, it's all about her kids. There's no way a husband can understand that. That's why we always get mad. But that's in the mother. And we always get mad because that's in the daddy. Wonder why that is. That's the way God set that up. You got to balance. So the kid's not totally killed by daddy. He gets a little mercy on mama's part. I'm serious. She has tenderness, tears, and truth. Who does? The mother does. Lots of tears sometimes. You can rear your kids perfect, and then when they get that free will going at 18, 19 years old, that may bring on a whole lot more, a new avenue of tears. More problems, different things that the mother will worry about. But the consolation is this, that while that child was in the house, she did the best she could with her ability to rear that kid for the honor and glory of God. That's the consolation. It's bad when you go back as a mother and you have to go to recesses of your mind and you see where you messed up nonstop, knowing the truth, but you rejected the truth and kept giving in and giving over to your flesh to comfort your kids. Don't work that way. Mothers, they have the tenderness, they have the tears, but you've got to have the truth. You've got to have the truth. That's what tempers everything. It'd be like a grandmother knowing the child, you know, grandmother, knowing the child, her grandbaby was diabetic, and every time that child went over there, to keep giving it sugar. That would be totally opposite of what character of a mother should be. If there was something like that. Or to get a little child, and they're talking about obesity. And the mother's trying to help the child not to be obese, and the grandmother's just pigging it out. Because on TV, that's what grandmothers do. Well, then you lost all truth. Because when that kid gets about 11, 12 years old, when he gets 13, and those little things in him start to move, and he's starting to be attracted to girls, and he looks in the mirror and sees himself, then what we're doing is promoting suicide. Aren't we? Go talk to a fat kid, see how he feels. Well, where does that happen? It happens when they're little. Right? When they're little. My mother, you weren't leaving the table, bless God, unless you had, that ain't enough food. You know, they come out of depression stuff, they come out of the 50s, and then I had to have ice cream. How'd I do? What happened to you? Have to have ice cream. Have to. I've been fighting that thing 30 years. Instead of a balance. Then you get mad at people that are disciplined. That's insane. They get mad at the Jews because they got money. Why? Because they didn't spend it on everything you do. They invested right. We're fickle, man. Well, I don't know. He's just got a glandular problem. It's actually a disease. Everything's a disease now. The druggie gets on TV. It's a disease just like alcohol. No. Stinking drunk. Stinking drug addict. You gave yourself over to that sin. And that sin has taken you over. You put it back where it belongs. You're not born that way. Right. I saw crack babies. Because that medical stuff gets in there and gets into the blood of that baby and they just start freaking out. I understand that. But once they wean that baby off, it doesn't have to go back. Trying to make it like cancer and everything. You had nothing to do with it. Now that's that. There's something twisted in the society. That's why it's not being better. It's not becoming better. It's getting worse. It's getting worse. Hey, did you hear the latest? Close all the schools for the swine flu. What are they doing to you guys? You guinea pigs or what? What is it, 30-something thousand a year die of regular flu? They're not even confirming this stuff. While they let people with tuberculosis fly in airplanes. While when AIDS was called grid, when it first started before it became politically correct, it spread and killed millions of people. They let that fly around. They quarantined them. What does that have to do with anything? It has a lot to do with how mothers train their children. Because them children grow up. Them children are influenced by their mother. The mother has to be well-read. The mother has to have enough foresight and insight to see down the line what's going to happen from the actions that are being done right now. Right. That's heavy responsibility, man. And if that mother doesn't have the maturity from her mother, which would be the grandmother, and so on and so forth, then there's no character from the grandmother that was transmitted to the mother. Next thing you know, you're producing girls that are worse. They're just worse. And then they come to church. Then you get the book. And you preach it. You show them the verse. Then they go on the emotional application of the word. Well, he was too mean, too loud, too scary, too soft. Okay, but what did he say? He was too mean, he was too scary, what did he say? You got the book on your lap, what does it say? Well, I know, but I'm so weak. That's why you got to be strong. You can't be weak, ladies. There's some things